Shalom. Prophesy the downfall of this wicked kingdom called Babylon. I'd like to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, for another beautiful day to come out here. And double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops. Peace, mercy, and salutations to all the brotherhood out there teaching the truth and sincerity in the name of Yahweh himself. So, I'm going to get started with Matthew 24 and 14. It says, "And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come." This is important because this is another word for world, and it's oikumene. Get it right now so I can show you. So the word is oikumene. See what it says? So that's a different word than the one found on John 3:16. And it says, G3625, oikumene, the inhabited earth, the portion of the earth inhabited by the Greeks in distinction from the land of the barbarians, because they're giving it the name, right? It's in Greek, so they're saying from their point of view, which is correct. But it also includes the barbarians. The Roman Empire, all the subjects of the empire, the whole inhabited earth, the world, the inhabitants of the earth, men. So it says the universe, the world, but we're just going to keep on this one. Now, that's the only message that's for the world, for the whole world. And I'm going to get John 3:16. This one says world 2. It says John 3:16, for Yahweh so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. That's G2889. See, that's a different word than the other one, but it means the same thing. Well, no, it doesn't mean the same thing. It's a lot. You know, the Christians try to say it means the same thing. So it says kosmos, and that's the name of this camp. You know, we're Camp Cosmos, and we're only for these people. Now, this sign might be exclusive and specific, but it's about this definition right here. An apt and harmonious arrangement or constitution, order, government, ornament, decoration, adornment, i.e. the arrangement of the stars, the heavenly host, as the ornament of the heavens, and it gives you 1 Peter 3:3. Whose adorning let it not be that outward adorning plaiting the hair and of wearing gold and of putting on of apparel. So it's not an outside thing. It's more of an inside thing. See, that's what this is about. Because these people are definitely lost, right? But they're the lost tribes because they're lost, because they're living in darkness. But that doesn't mean that you should judge that by their outward appearance. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say, and I'm gonna give you a hard example. Let's say the KKK came up here, started talking shit. I wouldn't put hands on them because the scripture says put hands on no man suddenly. But I would appeal to their genealogy. I'd be like, how do you know that you're 100% Edomite? Because they could be Israelites. Definition 3 says the world, the universe, for the circle of the earth, and that doesn't mean it's fucking flat, okay? The inhabitants of the earth, man, the human family. So see how this is going on? They try to make the same explanation twice, right? They try to explain that it's the inhabited earth, but the first definition is the best one. Of the human family. Now the human family, what does the word human mean? Hue means color, and man means, man. So man of color. The ungodly multitude, the whole mass of men, alienated from God and therefore hostile to the cause of Mashiach. So when it says alienated, just says alienated, and I want to define it: experiencing or inducing feelings of isolation or estrangement. So now it's getting specific. That means at one point that they were, the same tribe, but now they're alienated. So that's pretty much all the definitions I'm going to give. But at the last one, it says, for definition 8 says any aggregate or general collection of particulars of any sort, which means the Gentiles, right? Or the people that came from these people that call themselves other people, like, and let's say who would be a good example? There's a lot of basketball players that have dark fathers, Negroid fathers, and their mother is white, and then they came out a little light, and then they married a light-skinned woman, and their son now came out looking like an Edomite. But guess what? That young man, that little boy, he's an Israelite. So Yahweh might be protecting them. But not like he's protecting us. He might have a little a kind of hedge around him. That's what it says. The scripture says that there's a hedge around us. And the hedge is pretty big. That would be like a fence. See how that fence goes all the way around that house? There's angels. And when you say angels, you don't understand the severity of it. So I'm going to say it like this. There's very powerful beings that live in between our dimension and theirs, surrounding you, protecting you in this physical plane. So that could be happening to that little young man, and he'll be confused as fuck. He'll be like, man, I feel like hanging out with these people, but I don't look like these people. Some people might, and it happens a lot. Like in the Hispanic community, in the so-called Mexican community, There's Mexicans in Japan that look Japanese, speak Spanish, have lowriders, and all. They're promoting our culture over there because they are our culture. So there you go. And I used to have a couple of friends. They're still my friends, but I haven't seen them in years. Their last name was Casada, but they were fucking Japanese, and they would go to Japan every fucking year. They spoke Japanese and Spanish. But my point is, they didn't hang out with white people. They like to hang out with Mexican folks, which would make them the tribe of Ishikar. So now you see what's going on in the heavenly world of the cosmos. A Japanese man can come up. Don't think he's a heathen right away. Let him talk, because he might be from the tribe of Ishikar. So I'm going to get the Romans 11 and 12. Now, if the fall of them be the riches of the world, and the diminishing of them the riches of the Gentiles, how much more their fullness? See, Paul was always making it hard, and then it was only understandable by some. So it says, the fall of them be the riches of the world, right? So you're going after riches of a worldly nature. But that word is cosmos. So if we're going after the riches of the cosmos, we're going after the riches of what? We're trying to get our power back. We're trying to be gods. Some people would say we're trying to be mystics or magicians or wizards. And the diminishing of them the riches of the Gentiles. So when it's diminishing, it's like taking you away, right? So we got Edomites trying to be like us, and then we got our people trying to be like them, which brings me to my next point. Now we're going Dueteronomy 28. I'm gonna start at 15 because we left off on 15 last week, right? Deuteronomy 28 and 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So now we're going to talk about the curses. The curses that we're living through. So this is important. And when your teacher says this is important, you got to pay attention. You got to pay attention. I always say this too. What I noticed is that old people, babies, and animals, strong men, other alpha men, any kind of man, even women, like they'll look at me, and I used to get mad. I used to be like, what the fuck are you looking at? And now I understand. Some motherfucker said about my frequency being higher than everybody else's. So then I'm like, I really don't understand that whole frequency thing. I kind of do, because frequency is what? Like a tune, right? Playing a tune. I'm on this frequency. I'm on the 144 megahertz. So frequencies can change or move, right? Shit, what was the frequency? Germans in World War II, the Nazis. I think there's a difference in frequencies. I don't know if you know this. You know this, son? about the frequencies that you could change them and they could alter people's modes.
Yeah.
So they used to have a frequency that made the allies scared, right? Well, I don't know what frequency we're on, the men of the Lord. If there's no fucking reason that any one of us should be afraid of anybody or anybody's or a whole motherfucking army. And I think about this all the time. I'm like, why are people fucking looking at me? People always fucking look at me. People always try to get close to me. You know, Yahushua was walking through our people, and people kept trying to touch his robe, man, and he was getting upset. But guess what? You might not want to touch me, because I don't have no healing powers for you. I don't have no healing powers, boy. But I am very contrite. You know, I'm very contrite. I'm quietly suffering my indignities in hopes that I make it up to my Heavenly Father and my big brother, my master. Alright, so let's get it on. Dueteronomy 28:16. Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field. Man, so that has a resounding impact, because it says, "Cursed shall you be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field." Did you know about the movie 12 Years a Slave, when Solomon Northup he was free, right? He was free in New York City, but he didn't get no fucking respect because another citizen of New York City, someone that he gave respect to, set his ass up, and this motherfucker, Solomon Northup, ended up in the field as a slave. Now that's not what it means, but it means that you're gonna be cursed everywhere you fucking go. For example, I'm in the city. It's not really a city, but I don't get paid too much. My skill level of work is pretty high. The skills that I bring to the table are pretty high. You know, if you had a 8-foot table, 8x2, 8x4, and I were to explain in great detail my skills, I could fill that whole table up with the fucking things that I'm able to do. Plus my memory, you only have to show me once. So if you're a plumber and I was your apprentice, you'd only have to show me once. Every fucking thing. Once. And then you could count on me, right? You could depend on me. Well, it's not that good for me in the city, because we got people looking over us talking shit. My supervisor would be like, "Yeah, you guys are a weak team. You're a weak team." And then we got ladies that are our bosses. These ladies could be on their period, sitting next to us, getting us fucking dirty. Plus, they're all married, and the scripture says sit not with a married woman, and they want to sit next to us. Then you got the motards. They get high positions over you. Lord forbid that it happens to any brother. They can end up hitting on you, and you'll catch a case. And all you did was be a natural man. 18. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. So cursed shall be the fruit of the body. What's the fruit of the body? are my fruit. So that's the fruit of the body. Now I know you haven't been having a good time at school. You haven't been having a good time in your behavior in school. That's all right. We're not supposed to be in school. It's just the way it is. And that's the way we suffer these curses. I don't get on your case when your teacher tells me you're messing up. I'm like, I don't really give a fuck. I just want you to graduate, get the fuck out of there. Because if you don't have that diploma, you won't be able to get a decent job or even an insignificant job. That's a curse, right? And the fruit of thy land, man. So, fruit of thy land, what land? We don't got no fucking land. Our land got stolen. So did the fruit. And we don't get an abundance of yield in our harvest anymore. Because the land is depleted. The increase of thy kind and the flocks of thy sheep. So all that's going to be cursed. So what's our kind? Sometimes this thing doesn't give you the definition. Cows, collectively. So that would be, you know what? That's where the real money is. The head of cattle you own is important because one, you can sell that cattle. Two, you can harvest that cattle. Three, most important part is you can pass down that cattle to the next generation, which would be your older son. And you can distribute. I have 3 kids, right? Let's say I had cattle. Let's say I had a million head of cattle, which would mean cows, buffaloes, you know, the things that you eat, and then we have sheep and goats. So I'm on my deathbed, and I call my oldest son. So my daughter was born first. I didn't call her. I said I'm gonna call my oldest son. And I have a younger son. I ain't calling him either. Okay, there's order. And I tell my older son, look, son, I got this million cattle. The Lord's about to take my spirit. I'm about to go home. I want you to keep 500,000 of that cattle. Give 300,000 to your younger brother. Give 50,000 to your sister and sell the other 50,000. Man, you guys are set for life. But I can't do that. I can't even pass down my job that I have. I can't pass down anything. No? And if you had 500,000 head of cattle, man, you would be rich. You would be set up. And then my other son would have 300,000, and then we'd give 50,000 to sell, and the daughter would have 150,000. You know, they're all set. But if it were back in the day, my daughter would be married, and she probably wouldn't even get nothing. It would be between my sons, and it wouldn't be even either. I'd have to give more to my oldest son. Hey, I'd have to give it all to my older son. Technically. But, you know, now we're in this place where we can't give nothing out. 19. Cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out. Right. So, guess what? When you're born, the first thing you do is smear you with some fucking, some sort of fucking jelly on your eyes. For what? I don't fucking know. They smear your eyes, and then they eject you with something, your first inoculation. And I couldn't do a damn thing to stop it. So there you go, there's that. Deuteronomy 28 and 20. Yahweh Hashem Yahushai shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke in all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me. So that's a couple of things. Vexation and rebuke in all that thou settest thy hand to do. So anything that we do, we're gonna be cursed. Like I'll be at work, and the supervisor will be trying to tell us what to do, and I'll be like, okay, cool. But if I figure out a way to do it better, he'll be like, oh, that's not a good way to do it. I do it like this. So then what's that? He's trying to control you like a slave master, right? Doesn't let you do your own thing, because the part about being a good leader is knowing the strengths and weaknesses of your team. Like by the time you were 5, you would have already been out in the field, working with the herd, taking your little flock, and you would go into the mountains. You would eat in the mountains. You would spend the night with your flock. You would come down and water them. You would have been working already. But guess what? We don't have that. So that's kind of a vexation, and a rebuke telling you before you had everything, now you don't have nothing. And all thou doest until thou perish quickly because of the wickedness of thy doings. So what would be a wickedness of our doing? Well, first of all, these people are into witchcraft. They're Christian, Catholic, Buddhist. All these people think they're Native Americans. They're fighting against the grain. They even talk shit about the Bible. They even mock. They said, they'll say shit like, oh, the devil ain't real and God ain't real, blah, blah, blah. So they don't even believe that saying's there. But that's because they're of their incredulity, because of their wickedness. And that's really what a woman spirit would do. She would deny things. Right? 21. The Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee until he hath consumed thee from off the land whither thou goest possessing. So that's pretty specific. Anywhere you go, everywhere you go, it's gonna be bad news. It's gonna have that pestilence on it. There's a lot of pestilence going on. Brother Amawan does videos on pestilence almost there. Like once a year. There's still the locust from the early plagues going around, eating up all the harvest that they can. Now, if you ever watched the movie Jurassic World, I think it's Jurassic World, the last one that came out, they have locusts that are fucking this big, size of footballs. Did you know that you can eat locusts? Not the ones out in the movie, because they were genetically modified. Another thing, there's continuous volcanoes and earthquakes going around the world. And I'm guessing that they started when the Mount was on that cross. He was put on there because says that there was a great earthquake. So that's another thing too. A miracle. We used to pray for miracles. That's how we used to live. Like, for example, if we planted a field, we would plant it wherever we thought it was good, and it would be so far away from water, but the Lord would take care of us, because there's something in the morning called morning dew. See all that water on the floor that's drying up? That's called evaporation. So we had a whole system, an ecosystem, growing up for our food. So not only did you have to grow food for yourself, you had to grow food for your cattle. We don't have none of that. 22. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai shall smite thee with a consumption, and with a fever, and with an inflammation, and with an extreme burning, and with the sword, and with blasting, and with mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish. Wow. So there's a big list. You know, consumption could be like cancer. Because what cancer is the spreading of cells that can't be controlled. So we got a kind of fever. I had a fever a couple of weeks ago. Inflammation. Who's got arthritis? All these people got arthritis. With an extreme burning. Now, that could be many things. That could be a lust for something, like it burns. Damnation of lust, a burning, like somebody will burn your field. It could be a sunburn. There's kinds of burning. And with the sword, so that's pretty specific. So that would be the military. And consumption could be the military consuming your land, like stealing your goods. And with blasting, hail, and mildew. So mildew, what's mildew? Let's say we're growing a crop. And if you drink beer, you're drinking barley, hops, yeast, all kinds of little microorganisms. But if they catch a mildew, your crop is ruined. If you catch a mildew, your crop is ruined. So these companies, like in that movie, they have genetic. They have a genetic code to protect their plants. So there's a thing called HLVD, and it affects hops. HLVD is like the fucking mold or mildew. See, so there's kinds of types of diseases. And they shall pursue thee until thou perish. So all of these things are going to keep going to you until you're consumed. Because Haiti right now is being occupied. Haiti's being consumed right now. And they're the priests. They're the priests. So Haiti's right here. They're the priests. And thy heaven that is over thy head shall be brass, and the earth that is under thee shall be iron. So you're going to be stuck between a rock and a hard place. You know, and brass is basically like a shackle. You'll be constricted. And there's airplanes going around. They have bits and pieces of grass. They have the satellites that have precious metals in there. And you ever heard of the iron eagle? So all these minerals come from the earth. And basically, I don't know if I'm right about this, but brass is a metal that's so light. Like the chemtrails, they release little metal particles that float down. Maybe, you know, look those two here. Deuteronomy 28 and 24. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai shall make the rain of that land powder, and dust from heaven shall it come down upon thee. That'll be a constant rain, right? Or rain with contaminated water. They got acid rain. They got all these kind of different rains. And sometimes when your crop gets overwatered, it causes them to root rot, right? So you can't grow. But what kind of rain is happening right now? Rain could be like ideas being bombarded into your child's head, like the way school's being taught. Most of these kids are fucking failing school because they're being reprogrammed, and they don't like being reprogrammed. They have like most of the children in school come from these tribes, and we have a certain way of living. But when your fucking teacher's waiting on you, making you go against your family order, now there's a problem.